What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here. Noxus Cup Day 1 was yesterday, NA's final open tournament for this set before we get into regionals, LCQ, that kind of stuff, where there's only the top players playing. And Day 1, of course, is where everyone who didn't make the cutoff to be top 32 battles it out, and what a banger day it was. Frodan coming in first. Absolute beast performance from him, and I really wish I could VOD review him, but it looks like he deleted his VOD, so I guess we can't VOD review Frodan, so we are going to VOD review the second player, Me First or Eighth, who's a player who I haven't really watched at all ever before, but of note, all of their stream information is in Chinese, so this is someone who speaks majority Chinese who is playing in North America, which is pretty interesting. I don't really know what their story is. I haven't looked into them whatsoever. Maybe if there's someone in the comments down below who like watches their stream and knows their story, I would love to hear it, because it's very interesting to have someone who all of their stream information is in Chinese and they're playing in North America, which means they have to be a resident of NA. Like maybe they're a student or something like that. It's not like they're someone who is likely like playing in China to NA, and you can also see their MS, their ping is very low, so they're playing in North America. But there's someone who, their stream is not in English, which is interesting. I think most people I've VOD reviewed, all of their information, at least for these type of cups, is in English. Other note for people who are curious, I did not make Noxus Cup cutoff because I was on vacation the last few days before the cup. I thought I was safe enough to Peepo sit, but I was absolutely not safe enough. Okay, so I spoiled this VOD for myself a little bit, but this absolutely blows me away. He rolls the first two, and with literally just Gen 2 in the spot, well, it's Gen 2 and Renekton 2. Okay, actually, think about it more. With Gen 2 and Renekton 2, yeah, you can probably make this escort quest work. It's a Gargoyle Slam here, which I like a lot, though I'm a little surprised. It's definitely better on Renekton now. The problem is if you ever find a set, it's going to be much better on the Irelia, I would think. But I think, he just has to play for the now because he is Escort Quest. But yeah, this is a really, really cool augment to play around, because it's essentially, like, if you can win streak, you get rewarded insanely hard for it. You get so much gold for win streaking. The downside is that if you ever lose a fight, you're playing down an augment. You do probably have to backline this dummy a lot of the time in the early game if you're trying to make econ out of it. So you don't really have that much of a combat augment, but it's nice, especially in a meta like this, where I think a lot of people are just sort of playing full open. I've played some really egregious games in solo queue recently where I just look at the lobby and I'm like, no one is trying to win streak. Everyone is just playing for either reroll comps or, and oh, I'm so sorry, I just did that. I went to go put my stream deck to sleep and I accidentally hit the button to pull up a link. Good thing it wasn't like my button to pull up a link with all my bank account information on it, I guess. Of course, we have the early level here. I was going to say, like, we should definitely be looking for something like that. And he does level. He doesn't actually have a bruiser to play, so he has to play this Ashe. I would assume if you could get a bruiser in here, he would play it probably over the Warwick. And this is a really, really close fight against Stunt, who is level 5 as well. Stunt, for those who aren't familiar, past professional League of Legends player, who is trying his hand at TFT now. I know he was a support player. He played for a few teams. He played a lot of time in amateur. So cool to see those League to TFT people like Stunned, Saint Vicious, Chris, all of those really, really cool to see, like, playing at the top level in TFT. Just because it's a retirement home in many ways for esports professionals. If you have the young kid genetics, if you're, oh my god. Wow, I was not actually expecting this Giga Bebe level, but it might actually end up paying off. So he gets a Samira in, which is going to armor shred the front line here. Wow, it's not that close of a fight, but when you consider the fact that, like, Samira's armor shredding these targets, like, it actually ends up being relatively close. 3-unit loss, but that was very close to being a 2-unit loss. That fight actually could have been a Samira difference, which is wild. Wow, really, really cool stuff here. Trying to figure out what his strongest board is. Obviously, we're going to play this Ionia plus Warwick package, and the question is what else? Probably the Ash, and then he has the Renekton in here. He thought about getting the Echo in for a second, which would be a pretty interesting addition for the Zon mod. I think he was just trying to check the Zon mod, but this certainly seems like his strongest board here. Eventually, like I said, we're probably going to want to move items off this Renekton, but that's once we find something really good to play. But, I mean, what a great spot. Oh my god, and he hits the Shen. I mean, that's huge. Now he can play for the Shen as his... I'm curious. I assume he would just move items to the Shen. Shen, stronger than Irelia too, I would think. You could also choose to itemize the Irelia because she is more of sort of like a raw tank than Shen. Shen's sort of like a support tank, whereas Irelia is more of like a tank. Wow, and beautiful beautiful stores there. And okay, so we can potentially get this Silco in. Really interesting shop. So now he has the Shen to play around. And yeah, this is really crucial. He's going to make the Deathblade here, which I like a lot. But yeah, this is really crucial. He's not going to play the Shen. Wow. I mean, I think it actually makes perfect sense. I think, yeah, Irelia, from just a tankiness standpoint, I think is going to be tankier than the Shen. What you would like to do is get this Shen in just as a support tank. But Irelia is actually going to be tankier than Shen in a lot of... Wow, I thought he... okay, I thought he sold that Shen for a second. That was insane. Recombobulator here? Wait. Let's stop for a second. We have two 5 costs. We have two 4 costs already. This guarantees us a 5 cost. Now, if only we had like a 2-star 3 cost or something, that would go crazy. You could... I think he might just reforge these two 4 costs and a 5 cost. I still don't know actually how good this is from this spot. You're getting two 5 costs. Something like a Heimerdinger would blow the game wide open. Something like an Ari with this Ionia Star would blow the game wide open. A Scion would be like, okay. Aatrox would blow the game wide open. There's actually a lot of really good hits here. So I do think this is actually kind of reasonable, but it's pretty crazy. He plays it. He hits the Heimerdinger and a Scion here. But yeah, an early Heimerdinger like this, especially in this spot, gets a Burno. I assume you're going to want at least one Goldenator here because it's so early. Wait, where did the Zaya come from? He didn't reforge anything into the Zaya. He just rolled once and hit a Zaya. I mean, it makes sense, right? He's rolling so much earlier than everyone else. Now here's a question. Is this our board? Because you would love to get this Shen in here. You would love to get the Shrinko in. We're level 7, which means we can play 6 Ionia plus just like a Heimerdinger here. That means we'd have to say like cut the Warwick, cut this. So for example, he could go cut and play the Karma plus the Shen, but that seems worse. We're probably going to play the Scion for quite a while. The question is, do you sell this Warwick for this? It is a Warwick too. I would be tempted to just snap up this Shrink module here, but I think he's just going to play it out smart and not buy it. Because, yeah, I don't know. I'd be really tempted. Okay, he's going to move... Okay, this makes sense as well. He's just going to sell the Irelia, then move items to Scion. I think this is the perfect way to do it. Yeah, this is really smart. Because he doesn't actually need 6 Ionia here. It's not actually going to make his board any stronger because he would be forced to cut either the Scion or the Heimer, and there's no way we're cutting Heimer here. And cutting the Scion feels bad as well. So we're just going to do it like this. Wow, and he doesn't want Shrinko whatsoever. Oh, wait, no, he already picked up the Shrinko because okay. He rolled past the Shrinko. I was like, what? But obviously he already had it. Okay. So yeah, this looks really solid as a board. He ends up cutting the Irelia at this point. Or no, he already cut the Irelia, but he gets the Sejuani in here for Bruiser. And so now he's playing this really cute, like 3 Ionia board with just the Zaya, the Shen, and the Jhin. Really cool, flexible stuff out of this player. I think this is like a perfectly played game so far. And I don't know, I think a lot of people would get a little bit dizzy with this line, trying to like fit in everything, because you did have the opportunity to play 6 Ionia, but like having the presence of mind to note that 6 Ionia is actually a bait in this spot, I think is really smart. And it really just goes to like fundamentally sound TFT, where you are just always playing your strongest board. I think so many people, myself included, would be really tempted to like skip a step here and play 6 Ionia, but it's an absolutely weaker board. Just because it's the board that you want to play later does not mean it's the board that you should be playing now. So just boom, always playing your strongest board, not looking too far ahead. I think beautiful play from me, 1st or 8th. This is someone I've seen on ladder before. I didn't actually realize that they were like a Chinese player. I just assumed, you know, as I assume with most people that they're on NA, that they're just, you know, an NA player. But it's interesting to see. Like I said, I'd love to hear like what their situation is, why they're playing on NA, but all their stream info is in Chinese. So obviously, like Chinese is their like their most like central language, the language they speak the most. But yeah, we have this person in our lobby who is playing Samira reroll, though. Ooh, I don't know. It's hitting Samira 3 on 3-6 is really dubious. I believe they just hit that, and they're nowhere near Swain. I feel like this is just a bot 4 from them. I don't know. I haven't played enough of the new Samira. Ooh, and there's Goldenator plus Zaya. Huge hits here. It is getting to be sort of like a late Goldenator to get in, but Goldenator is still a very solid combat upgrade for Heimerdinger, and I don't think we definitely don't have the items for him right now, so we can't do the new one, the Refractor Beam, which if you guys saw that new upgrade, that's the upgrade that turns Heimerdinger into like a little bit more of a carry. Also just natural to Neela here. Holy. Item-wise here, you want to kill the worst component. He goes for Protector's Vow here. I mean, that's Shen's best item from those that you can build there. Shen really likes, like, mana items that allow him to cast. I assume the Scion's going to come out eventually, but I guess we'll see. I assume you're going to go for the... Well, I guess you can't really go for the 4 Vanquisher board because that requires all of your slots on level 8, which means you can't play Heimer. Oh, wow. Did the turret just... I think the turret got a gold there, and then he got the gold from the dummy. I think it's fine to reroll these. LDP, we don't actually have anyone to LDP right now, so I don't love it. You know, Martyr has synergy with the dummy. I also think it's just not that bad here, especially because you're pushing levels. Yeah, I kind of like Martyr a lot here. Because well, actually, does it have synergy with the dummy? I'm sure, now that I think about it, it probably doesn't because of... Like, I assumed because the dummy is a placeable unit that it would work with Martyr, but I'm not actually sure if that's true. It does say every time one of your units dies, which I think the dummy's a unit, but I think they removed most interactions like that from the game, where like something like a dummy will count as a unit, so maybe it actually doesn't work. But would be sick if it did work. It's an Ari here, and he hits the Zaya too, just rolling down to 10 every single round here, and finally gets like Giga rewarded for it. Now, can you even fit the Ari here? Because I think this is the board that he's just going to play towards. This 4 Vank board with the Bruiser setup, a pretty common version of the board, actually, you know, if you hit like a Sejuani 2 or something, but he actually ended up hitting the Scion, which sort of gave him the direction to play the Bruiser version of the board, so he's just going to play this version here. Ooh, really, really close fight. I think we're finally going to lose one. Yeah, the 12 loss streak comes to an end here, sadly. Very, very rough. Wow, Scion with Belt would obviously be amazing, but that seems hard to take. So then what do you take here? You don't need like Evan Shroud or anything like that, but I mean, you could just always... Okay, he's just going to go Guardbreaker. Yeah, Guardbreaker looks really good here, actually. It's one of Zaya's best items because she already gets that. Her spells can crit from Vanquisher, so just any crit stats on her is really good. It also gives her the attack speed. Yeah, just a very, very good item on Zaya. I assume we can't actually go fast 9 on this board. We do really need to find like a Sejuani 2, a Shen 2, even ideally like a Neela 2 before we actually start to push 9. So I assume we're going to roll a bit at 5-1, try to find these upgrades. But what's really crazy about this game is that, you know, this comp is giga contested, this Zaya comp. Like, this is not a comp that usually you can find a lot of upgrades for naturally, but because of the Recombobulator, because he was pushing level 7 at 3-2, it's not like anyone else is rolling for Zaya's this game. So he was sort of allowed to hit this game because he was so ahead on the tempo because of the escort quest, which is really, really cool that, you know, like, see, this person here has a Shen 2, I believe, but, you know, like, we just hit Shen 2 and we already had 2 Shens at this point. You know, like, a lot of people, like, if you were playing from behind, you would be, like, pivoting into the board right now, maybe at 4 or 5, with, like, maybe 0 Zaya, 0 Nylas, but, you know, he already has Zaya 2, he had 2 Neelas, he finds a Neela in shop there, and so now he has Neela 2, and now, like, he can definitely start pushing levels. But yeah, it could also be a lobby where this comp is just uncontested, which would be a bit surprising to me. The death cap doesn't sit well with me. I feel like you'd have to make like a gunblade plus what's that? Yeah, exactly that item. The I forget what that item is called. But yeah, like whatever that crown guard, and then gunblade. Yep, I think this is exactly what I would do here. And I like the remover of items onto the Shen. He's gonna be a much better item carry than this Scion at this point in the game, especially with the Crown Guard, especially with the Protector's Vow. This is like almost BIS Shen. I think you want something else aside from the Gargoyle, but you really want to just like caster items on Shen here. Wow, I'm really shocked about the Gargoyle. I would have, I mean, I would have definitely thought about IE on Neela. It's a second Neela item. You know, that she synergizes really well with the crit. The downside, of course, is that, you know, like, she doesn't need the ability for her spells to crit, but just the raw stats on Neela, I feel like, are not bad. Maybe he's looking for more defensive setup on Neela, like a Titan's RFC here, and just looking for, like, Giga BIS. I think that is probably it, is that, you know, like, IE is a good enough item on Neela, but he doesn't have to settle for good enough. He's very healthy, and we're playing in Yorick's Graveyard, so he knows he's going to get more items. This is something that I really struggle with, and I think is a big part of what makes really strong TFT players is knowing when to greed items versus when to just slam whatever item. This is actually definitely a spot where you can greed items here, and he opts to greed items, and I think it's absolutely correct. But like, you know, I'm pretty sure his board gets stronger here with the IE versus the Gargoyle, but he just knows that he's going to get better items for Neela. He does not have to build an okay item on Neela. He can just look for perfect Neela items, perfect Cyan items, and, you know, put himself in an amazing spot, which I think really good presence of mind for me for Straith here. He's 94 HP. It's not like he's going to die anytime soon, and he has all these upgrades here. Like something like a QSS, I think would go crazy. It looks like he did want that there, but he does end up just taking a Redemption here. He's going to go for a Gwynsu's onto Neela, which, okay, I could see that being a better item than IE, especially maybe because his other options were pretty underwhelming. Like, I don't think there was anything else that actually looked very good here, versus the Gargoyle is, you know, like a very optimal item on Scion. And he does end up redemptioning the Sejuani. Like, normally you would want to put 2 items on Scion. The problem here is that Scion is a very bad holder of redemption because he's just going to run away from your team and not redemption proc on anyone. So I think this makes sense, especially, like, if you had, like, Scion too, you'd probably itemize the Scion. Another item here, Hodge looks crazy good for Neela. You already have the healing. He's actually scouting around to see if he needs, like, maybe more frontline, and he is going to go for the Gargoyle here. Wow. He gets another item here. It's a Warmogs. He doesn't need the Sunfire because he already has the Sunfire effect, the healing reduction from Heimerdinger. Perfect positioning versus these rogues here. This is the positioning to dodge rogues. This is why he's putting his Zaya on the 3rd row so that all of the rogues end up dashing to the middle here. Neela also a pretty solid unit into rogues, but wow, he ends up actually losing that fight. I mean, to be fair, he is sitting on like 100 gold, so I guess you could definitely see him losing this fight here, and he's just going to go 9. Maybe even sack 1 and go 9 the round after that. Now, here's a question. I don't know. One of those boards he just fought is the Rogues board. What is the other board? Because if it's not a Zaya board, we could potentially see a Zaya 3 this game. The problem is that so many other people are dead here, though. Yeah, I mean, he's just going to pre-level it. Full greed mode. I love it because he knows he's 82 HP. Like, he can afford to do that. There was this... Is the Sork player still in his pool? No. Okay, it is a Zaya player. Oh, what the fuck is Archangels here? I don't know. I think maybe he got a little dizzy there. If anything, like if it's not Archangels, which I don't think it really is, I think maybe it could be Nash's Tooth Heimerdinger. I think that's like a solid item in his spot if he wants to greed for perfect Nihilate item. He could also just take a Neela item there. Nash's Tooth Neela, Renan's Neela, which, you know, aren't amazing but aren't terrible. But yeah, I don't really see how he's going to hit Zaya 3 this game. Maybe the Sedge 3 though, certainly. Wow. Yeah, 6 Sejuani's already. Oh my god. Okay, look, I would edit this out, but I'm just going to say that, you know, there's a 15-second ad. It is going to be way too much work to edit it out. You guys can look at the score sheet some more. So many good players here. I'm so mad that I'm not playing, but, like, also, I didn't want to sack the vacation. Like, I got to go to Tactician's Crown, meet, like, Joe Bookmark and Kai, like, 2 members of the study group. I got to meet them in person. Like, I don't know. It was so sick. And then I got to... I was in New York for a few days after that. I got to go to a really sick concert and, like, spend a lot of time in New York just, like, doing fun stuff. So, like, I would absolutely not have sacked that vacation for, you know, playing in Noxus Cup because, I mean, I love, you know, competing in TFT, but, like, the vacation was awesome. But I wish I could have done both, of course. There's another Zaya. There's another Neela. He's actually rolling relatively deep here because he feels like maybe this game is coming to an end soon. I don't know. I'm surprised that he rolls actually so deep here, but he hits a lot of really insane upgrades. Yeah, the problem here is that you're never actually finding Zaya 3 or Neela 3 because all Stunt has to do is hold 1 Zaya, and it's literally impossible for you to hit. And even if he doesn't hold 1 Zaya, you have to find every single one in the pool. But the Sejuani is definitely doable. Items here, I'm actually, like, just not even sure. Like, we have so many items. He just takes the Zaya. Oh, it says there's a Zaya with Last Whisper there. That is true. So now he's actually 2 off Zaya. But, oh, 1 off Zaya. Will he go for it? I mean, I definitely don't think you sell the Sedge, especially in this spot. You're 2 off of Sedge as well, and Sedge is way more likely to be hit. Stunt is still not holding a Zaya. I think this game might end here, though, so we're actually not going to be able to potentially see the Zaya 3, even though that'd be so sick. Please, he should have just sacked his board so that he could hit the Zaya 3 or the Sedge 3 or something. RIP. Well, still an amazing game for me, 1st or 8th. Really shows just, like, beautifully playing around Strongest board and playing around his Augment. Shows why he did so well on the first day. Hope you guys enjoyed this VOD review. I might be co-streaming day 2, so check out my Twitch and all my other links down below to see if I am live. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.